Hi guys, I don't basically go home from my 9 to 5, you know. So I work at the clinic, you know, and then it's like, bro. I mean, this I just had to I thought about something today, and I was like, bro, this is not the life I really want to live, bro. This is not the life because 9 to 5 is actually slavery, bro. 9 to 5 is actually slavery because come to think about it, we all knew slaves you know, to serve masters, during the colonial era, when the Europeans came to Africa to buy slaves and the rest. So these slaves basically worked for their masters, and at the end of the day, they are given free foods, free shelter, and free clothing and the rest, but they're not being paid for working. And then we all were all like, I mean, we got to end slavery, we got to stop slavery, and in the early 19s, bro, that was when the whole thing of slavery was actually abolished. But I think working a 9 to 5 is actually an evolution of slavery, bro. Yeah, I think that is it. Because working a 9 to 5 is actually going to work, bro. You work for 1 week, 1 month, and then you're actually being paid. Sorry, guys. You're actually being paid a salary for working. You are being paid by the business owner, by the firm owner. And then out of this payment, bro, you actually pay for your house rent, you pay for your light bills, your water bills, your gym membership, utility bills, you pay for petrol. I mean you fix other stuff, you keep some money aside for your health, and I'm like, why do we have to pay for all this, at the end of the day, after working for 30 days, and then you get your salary, you then have to use it to pay for other things, and by the time you realize, you're just basically left with nothing. I mean, so I would even say that, bro, the older times was actually better, bro, because they were actually giving free foods, and then they were actually being watched after. I mean, their health, clothing, and the rest, bro. So, but now, I mean, we basically have to use our money to pay for these things, bro. It's just that back in those days, they were never being paid. I mean, like, I'm gonna pay you like $200 for working for me, bro. You feel me? That kind of stuff. But I think in our time, it's basically like it's more like an evolution. Instead of being taken care of, you're being given the money to go take care of yourself, which is basically the same thing, bro. I mean, there's no difference. It was just like there was just a change is being made in the system, So I basically hate 9 to 5, bro. I basically don't want end up. I mean, working a 9 to 5. I mean, there's no freedom, bro. You don't have to do what you want to do. Like, you can't travel, you can't visit places, I mean, we basically have little or no time to leave. So, I mean, I just have to tour around the world, bro. I have to go to places. But if you're doing a 9 to 5, bro, there's no way. Like, you can't, tell your boss or your manager that I mean, I want to pause, I want to go travel, I want to do something. I mean, that's not really allowed in 9 to 5, bro. So I think it's just like an evolution of slavery. You are just being basically paid for us to, okay, go use this money, go get the food you want. I mean, the food we would have given you. I mean, just take the money, go get the food you want, go buy petrol for your cars. I mean, go pay for your light bill, go pay for your house rent. I know those basic stuffs, bro. So I think that's just like an evolution of slavery. But I think one thing I would also add this to the video because I just basically wanted to talk about my stresses, the stress I go through as a 9 to 5 worker. I mean, this is not going to be permanent, bro. It's like a temporal something, and I'm just gonna basically live this life. I call it the metrics. So we see it as the metrics, bro. This is not a life anybody wants to live, bro. It's just like you're stuck in the metrics, you're stuck in the rat race, you know. You wake up, you go to work, come back, you wake up, go to work, come back, you wake up, go to work. This is just like a system. And then you realize that you do all these things, you eventually get married, and then you give birth to children that are actually going to repeat the same cycle, bro. So it's just like a cycle, a continuous cycle. And I think my right from my great grandparents, you know, they've been doing the same thing, and then they passed it to my grandparents, and then my grandparents passed it to my parents, and then they are trying to pass the same system to me. But I'm like trying to make a decision, bro. I'm not going to be stuck in this same cycle. I have to break away from this. This is not the life I want. I just want basically, like, I want total freedom, bro. I don't want this life. I don't want to be stuck in this life, bro. So I think one of the ways I would suggest for you guys, if you're thinking about, you know, breaking out from this cycle, bro, it's just one thing. Just learn a skill. Just learn a skill, guys. It could be whatever you think of. I mean, there are there are a lot of people out there who are actually freelancing, bro. And I think one of the basic way for you to live this lifestyle is, the first thing is actually trying to be a freelancer or maybe an entrepreneur. I mean, basically, people will not tell you this, bro. I mean, they'll just beat around the bush. 9 to 5 is bad, but they won't literally tell you how to escape from that cycle, bro. I mean, being a freelancer, you can actually work from anywhere, like around the world, you know. And also an entrepreneur. I mean, you can even be the boss who gets to control people who work 9 to 5s, you know. You can be a business owner. So I mean, I'm not saying working the 9 to 5 is bad. There's a point in your life where you have to do the 9 to 5. Okay, you have to build a 9 to 5. Like, you have to do the 9 to 5 to be able to manage your time. You can also build a career from it. You know, I mean, people who own businesses, they were once working for people. So that's just where life starts. So 9 to 5 doesn't seem that bad, but I mean, you shouldn't be stuck in the 9 to 5 forever. It should be like a temporary something. It should be like a stepping stone, you know? That's where you take your first step towards your journey into entrepreneurship, freelancing, content creation, whatever you want to do out there. So basically, that's just it. See you all.